I'm gonna call the mayor's city line 311. It's 10:23 p.m. April 9, 2013.
Thank you for calling 311, the Mayor's Citywide Call Center. For city services and information, press 1. For citywide announcements, press 2. Grade your government. Share your thoughts on DC government services. Check out the new grade.dc.gov and give your feedback via web, text, or social media. Learn more at grade.dc.gov.
$45 DC 311, Office of Unified Communications. My name is Miss Marshall. How may I assist you today?
Hi, Miss Marshall. I would like to know. I had experience a few days ago where I needed to go to the hospital, and the ambulance was only able to take me to one hospital, and that hospital I already knew in advance because I'd been there, and also because they told me don't come here because we don't have what you need. But they wouldn't take me to another hospital instead. I'm looking to purchase a property. I'm going to give you the address, and I would like to know what automatically would be the hospital that the ambulance will take you to if you call 911 and get an ambulance.
I don't know. I can transfer you over to the ambulance service, and they may be able to give you that information.
Okay.
Hold for one moment.
Thank you.
By communication, DC 911.
Hello? 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 Let me try that again. Try it again.
Thank you for calling 311, the Mayor's Citywide Call Center. For city services and information, press 1. For citywide announcements, press 2. Grade your government. Share your thoughts on key DC government services. Check out the new grade.dc.gov and give your feedback via web, text, or social media. Learn more at grade.dc.gov.
You're calling DC 311, Office of Unified Communications. My name is Rodney. How may I assist you today?
Hi, Rodney. I just called and somebody, I spoke to Miss Marshall and she transferred me, but we got lost. The reason why I'm calling is I had an experience where I needed to call 911 and go with an ambulance to the hospital. However, I knew the hospital that near my house, closest to my house, did not have what I needed. The reason why we'd be going to the hospital, they didn't have that available. They're limited. That's UMC. You know, they don't have everything most hospitals have. But in any event, the ambulance could only take me to that hospital, and I didn't want to go there, but that's the only hospital they could take me to. I'm looking to purchase a property, and I want to know what the automatic hospital I would be taken to would be if I called 911 at that address.
You're trying to find out which hospital you will be taken to based off of an address?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Do you know what the address is?
546th Street, Southeast.
Let me see if it's in where you live. Give me just a moment.
It's not where I live. It's where I'm thinking of moving, because one of the reasons I'd like to move is that is one of the reasons is that I don't have a choice of a hospital.
Okay, you said 5. Sorry, what the address is?
546th Street, Southeast.
Is there a street, a number, a house number?
Yeah, 5.
Number 5?
Yeah, 5.
Street?
5, and then the street address is 46th Street, Southeast. And that's in Marshall Heights. It's right near the Benning Metro.
Okay, that's number 5, 46th Street, Southeast.
Mm-hmm.
One moment.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, it looks like the hospital that you will be taken to will be United Medical Center.
From that address?
If there's an address. Looks like it's 1310 Southern Avenue Southeast.
Okay, this is 546th Street Southeast. This is in Marshall Heights. Where I live now. I mean, it could be that that's still the same hospital that I would get taken to if I call from that address. It's possible because it's a southeast address also, but it's right across the street from a northeast address.
Right. It just shows things that would be in that community, and it shows that would be the closest hospital.
Okay, that's bad.
Right. I mean, unless you have the medical to take you to a different hospital, but that hospital shows that's the nearest one.
That's the nearest one. And how do you determine whether, like for instance, a hospital, you call an ambulance, they tell you that they get told where to take the person?
Oh, now that I'm not certain, honestly.
Yeah.
Probably have to ask paramedics, but I'm not sure how they actually dispatch or how they determine on which hospital to take the person to.
Well, see, because I know this, they don't dispatch or determine it based on the need of the patient. It's some other need, because I was having stroke symptoms, and they don't have MRIs at UMC for that type, but they don't have what they need at UMC for that, and they took me there anyway. I mean, I could have, if that turned out to be a stroke, and it may have been a stroke, it wasn't a serious stroke that stopped me then and there, but it may have been a stroke. I still have to find that out. But they didn't have. I only went for an MRI now. I went there on March 29th, and on April 1st, they didn't have anything. They don't have it. And they told me not to come there, and I told the ambulance not to take me there. And then they took me there without telling me that that's where they were going to take me.
I would think a person should have a right to say which one they want to go to. I don't
Oh,
know
I
how
know
it works,
I do.
honestly. I haven't been taken to paramedics, but I would hope that if I want a particular hospital, I would be taken to where I chose. But as I mentioned, I'm not really sure how that works.
Yeah, my experiences with it from hearing from other people's that they have, they may not have a choice where they take you, but they have to let you know, and if you don't want to go there, you have to sign a paper telling them that you have refused the service. But they didn't give me that selection or anything like that. I told them I didn't want to go there, and they took me there as though I said, go ahead and bring me there. I mean, I couldn't have gotten clearer,
Right.
About not wanting to go there, but he didn't tell me he was going to take me there anyway, and, he could have said, because, I would not have been able to get to a hospital quickly, but if I went to UMC, you're still gonna wind up not getting the help you need quickly if they don't have what you need.
Right.
So it was better for me to either wait for the next bus. It was in the middle of the night. Wait for the next bus to start running again, which they weren't running at that time, or call for a cab, which is in Southeast. I don't know where you live, but I live in Southeast, and if you call a cab, you can wind up waiting a couple of hours,
Right.
4 hours for them to say, we don't have a cab yet, we won't be coming after all. So, you're going to wind up taking the bus, eventually. But the same amount of time would have elapsed if I had gone, if I had stayed home as if I had gone there.
Right.
And waited in the waiting room where they told me to wait instead of seeing to me right away. I mean, it was the nightmare that you hope never happens to you. That's what happened. So I took a cab from there because they will come. Cabs do come to the hospital. They may not come to your house 1 block away from there, but they will come to the hospital and pick people up. So I took a cab and I went to GW where they have MRIs and stuff like that. So I didn't go there, but I wanted to know, what areas, can you give me a way of figuring out parameters of how do I know what address, or would I be calling for each address, that when I look at a house, that I'm not going to wind up dying at the hands of an ambulance, because they have to take me to Southeast and not somewhere else, because even if I need to go somewhere else, because they have to make that money, because in me, it was greedy. They wanted to make the money. And they took me no matter what, even though I said, don't take me there.
I would actually ask paramedics just to make sure if you request a certain hospital, are they obligated to take you there? I mean, you can ask them. I would think that if you chose a particular hospital, I would think you have the right. But again, I'm not really sure how they actually are set to dispatch.
It's the second. This is the second and third time I've been taken to a hospital by paramedics. First time I didn't say anything because I figured that's where they would take me. I had no idea they didn't have MRIs in the middle of the night, But once I knew that, I didn't want to go back there. I had been one time. I got hit by a truck, and they took me, and this was in Arlington, near the Pentagon, and they took me to GW. They told me how they determined to take me to GW. There were no beds in Arlington, so they were going to go to DC. I don't know how they determined it, though, because they clearly didn't have time or room for me, but they took me there anyway. See, I have no idea how they determined that, because there wasn't a logical determination. This is DC. Arlington may have different rules as to how they make that determination. Based on logic. DC may not have that. They may have certain rights that they have, entitlements that are the basis of why they bring you to one hospital as opposed to another, and against your will.
Right.
Okay, well, you're suggesting is that I call each firehouse.
Well, I would check. The fire station is 30, the one that services that address that you gave me.
Which is the firehouse for that address, then?
The one that you gave me is fire number 30.
30. Okay.
Yes. Which their number is 673-3230.
3230. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I won't call it's firehouse number 30. Okay, 673-3230. I should call there probably tomorrow morning. I know you guys are there.
Available now. If you like to speak to them, they should be available.
Well, I could try them. Yeah. Okay, I will do that.
Okay.
Unless you can you transfer me?
Certainly.
Can you transfer me there?
Can.
Okay.
Was there anything else you needed before I connect?
That's it. You've answered, it's the question as well as you know.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, have a good evening.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks for calling. You're welcome. Fireman Clark.
Yes, hi. I'm calling because I had an experience with the fire, with the ambulance near my house. I don't know what the firehouse number is, but I live in Southeast, and I'm looking to purchase a property in Southeast that they say, I called 311, and they say that you are the one associated, you're the firehouse associated with that particular address. My question was, what hospital do you automatically take people to when they call 911 and they need, they're having a heart attack or something, they need to go to the hospital?
Where's your what's the address?
546th Street Southeast.
546th Street Southeast?
Yeah. Right near the Benning Metro.
I understand. Yeah, it completely depends on the severity of the patient. If the patient's not super severe, then we can, there's no real close hospitals around here, so we'll go anywhere like Hospital Center, Providence, normally one of those two, or Howard. If someone, when we have someone who's shot, or if we are actively doing CPR, we will take someone over to PG Hospital, which by far is the closest hospital to your location.
Okay.
If someone's having an active heart attack, we will probably try and go to PG Hospital.
Okay. You wouldn't be going to UMC, would you?
We could go there.
If a patient says they don't want to go there,
then we will try everything possible to not go there. But we have to, after we assess the patient, we then have to call an EMS supervisor, tell them what we have, and then they instruct us what hospital to go to. And we will tell them they absolutely do not want to go to UMC, but if all the hospitals are totally full, he might say that there's just really no choice, we have to go to UMC.
Okay, when you have no choice like that, do you leave the choice up to the patient?
We will certainly take the patient's request into consideration. But if the EMS supervisor says that we cannot go to another hospital because there's no beds, then he's not going to let us go to the other hospital, and he'll have us go to UMC.
If the patient says they'd rather not go to the hospital at all than to go to that, or they're going to go some other way, they'll figure out something else, rather than go to that hospital, what do you do?
So you're saying that they absolutely do not want to go to UMC,
Right.
and either they don't go to UMC or they're going to go in their own vehicle.
Right. I'm going to give you an example of what happened to me. I live in Southeast, and the UMC is the one that they automatically went to on 2 occasions. The first occasion, I said nothing about it. I figured that's where I'd wind up going. I had stroke-like symptoms.
Okay.
Okay? They took me there. They don't have MRIs in the middle of the night. They don't have what you need to help a stroke patient.
Right.
They don't have it.
Right.
They're limited. So the second time it happened, I called through Alert 1, actually. The first time I called the police directly. The second time I called through Alert 1. They told them not to take me to UMC. They said, we can't make them do what we're asking, but we can ask for you. We can tell them what you want. And so they told them, and then when they arrived, I told them. Because I had just gotten off the phone with UMC, they told me, don't come here. They said, we don't have what you need. Go to GW.
Right.
Right. So I told them that. The guy said, he said something really strange. Yeah, it's a stroke, but it's not. And I said, I felt like, what are you, clairvoyant? You're going to know what the diagnosis is beforehand. But in any event, I told him I don't want to go there. I told him what the UMC told me. And I said, I don't want to go there. So he brings me into the thing, and he takes me to UMC. When I get to UMC, I told him, you better not put this on my Medicare, and you better not bill me for it, because I told you not to come take me here, and you should have told me beforehand, because I didn't have much of a choice.
Right.
Okay, because it was in the middle of the night, the buses weren't running. So
understand.
I would have had to wait 2 hours before a bus came. Also in Southeast, you may or may not be aware of this, but a cab won't come, even if it's illegal not to do that, to not come. When you call them, they won't come.
Mm-hmm.
You might wind up on the phone waiting, calling them and checking again and again, like for 4 hours before they finally decide to let you know no one's coming after all.
Mm-hmm.
So my other choice was to wait for the bus service to start up again and go to GW.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When I went to UMC, the guy brought me there, and they told me to sit in the waiting room. So they said behind like 12 or 13 other parties or people. And I know from experience at UMC that they don't, if you're having a heart attack or you need antibiotics or you have a gash in the leg or something like that, the order you came in, no exceptions, is the order they'll take you. You tell me to go sit in the waiting room. I could have been at home, lying down in my bed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I would like to know what would happen in a situation like that. It's like, you should have told me you were going to do this, because I wouldn't have come with you. The thing that was good is I was able to call a cab from the hospital, because they will come there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in the cab and I went to GW instead. Okay, because they didn't even register me. They wanted me to go register myself. I says, well, if you really feel I can do that, I think I can get into a cab and go to GW and get seen sooner. And I did.
Were you diagnosed as having a stroke?
No, they didn't give me an MRI or anything like that. I just went today and I didn't get the service I needed at GW either, but they saw me right away, and they didn't diagnose me as having a stroke, but they didn't diagnose me as not either.
Mm-hmm.
It could have been a TIA, but they said they didn't give me another CAT scan, because they said it's the radiation of that. You've already had 2 and stuff. They didn't give me a blood test, which, I would have a complaint about that, because you give me a blood test within a certain number of hours to find out what happened. If nothing happened, at least I know that much.
Yeah.
Which was wrong. It could be other stuff. It could be like migraines or something like that makes you, because, if you lose control of your arm or your leg, that could be other things too. It's not necessarily a stroke, but it is a stroke-like symptom.
Right.
You need to treat it like that until you know better. And so they didn't do that for me there, but that doesn't have anything to do with how they treated me at UMC. Those are 2 different issues. I wanted to go to a hospital that at least had what I could expect to need. They told me to go get an MRI, but just didn't want to give it to me there.
Well, they
were kind of like worked up because I had been at another hospital already, kind of thing. They were getting involved in that when they really shouldn't have been. Okay, but the point is, I needed to go somewhere where they had what I needed. Otherwise, why go?
Right.
You know, why would I go and sit in the hospital, you know, in the waiting room of an emergency room for hours, literally hours, before I get seen by triage and all that stuff. And I've come in an ambulance and stuff. I can do that at home, you know. I can do that at home and then just go at my leisure. You know, if we're going to be leisurely about it, I can go, you know, I don't need to come in an ambulance there in the middle of the night. So what would happen if something like that happened? The person rather not go to the UMC than rather stay home than go there and see what their chances are with something else. They'll figure something else out. They may not have I didn't have my own vehicle. I can't drive because I lose control of my arms and my legs. This is something that's been ongoing for a while. It's just that recently a doctor told me that as soon as you have something like that, go to the hospital. I wasn't doing it before, okay? So if you're losing the control of your arms and legs, you don't have your own vehicle because you can't drive it under those conditions, you know. But, you know, I might want to do something else, including do nothing, rather than go to the hospital where I feel I will get nothing out of it.
Well, if we come out there and you decide that if you're not going to the hospital that you want to go, you would rather stay out there, we recommend that you call us out there. Then if something's going on that you wanted us to take you to the hospital, and we, after our evaluation, where we take your vitals, and they may or may not have hooked you up to a heart monitor, all we can do is call the supervisor on the radio, tell them what we have, what our findings are, and they tell us what hospital to go to. It's kind of out of our hands. We can make a suggestion, but ultimately it's out of the firefighters and ambulance crew's hand.
It's out of your hands, but is it out of the hands of the patient? Is what I'm asking, because it was out of his hands, except that he could have told me I don't have a choice, but I have to take to UMC, even though you just told me you won't go.
Sometimes it is out of the patient's control because their feeling is that if you call 911 and you want to go to a hospital, based on what we have, based on what they found, we're going to send you to a hospital. It may not be exactly where you want to go, but you're going to get to a hospital where you can be.
How do you, okay, so fine, how do you justify that he felt I needed to go there, and he took it out of my hands. He felt I needed to go to a hospital because I called for a hospital. But it was okay for me to go sit in the waiting room after 12
Oh, that's what the hospital made that decision for you to sit in the waiting room. That's not up to us.
Well, it's not up to you, but, you know, if
we
it's...
take you there. What the hospital does with you once we get you to the hospital is out of our hands.
Right. Right. Well, but he should have at least told me.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you know, you can't force somebody to get medical help.
Right.
You know?
Unfortunately, we just called a run. I can give you the phone number to our PIO office, our personal information officer, and they might be able to assist you a little better.
Okay.
Would you like that phone number?
Yeah, please.
202-673-3331.
Okay, and this is a 9 to 5 place, or?
Yes.
Okay, so I would call like tomorrow sometime.
Yeah.
And what exactly would they be assisting me with? Helping to understand the question I'm asking you, or?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right, have a wonderful night.
You too, bye.